work ethic is one, student mentality is the other, right? Yeah, and drive, right? What is their whys? Like, why do they want to be? What are their goals are? Like, what's the whys behind their motivation, right? If they have work ethic, which is hard to tell on day one, right? If they have a student mentality, that's something that I can tell right away, right? And I'll tell you how I discover that. And three, the drive, like, I mean, on day one, we asked them what their financial goals are or what skills they want to possess, you know, so then you'll get to learn that. So you can really measure that. Work ethic. So the way that I preface it, I say, okay, Ken, we're going to be going out in the field today, okay? We're going business to business. So I don't rely on the back office or anyone else to convey what's going on. I make sure that I look them in the eyes and I'm crystal clear about the expectations of the day. All right? So it's Ken, we're going out today. We're going business to business. Our demographic of customers are small to medium-sized businesses, as you'll see today. We're going to see a lot of doors today. We're going to run into some people who completely don't want to hear anything that we have to say. They may be freaked out about the coronavirus or whatever. They're going to shoo us away, shut us down. Some may be rude, some may be jerks, and that's fine. We're going to disengage from that and just focus on the customers. I'm looking for the low-hanging fruit, the customers who are open-minded, that are looking to save money. I'm going to work hard to find those customers. I'm not going to waste time with difficult customers that I have to, you know, sit there and have a 2-hour presentation for. I don't have time for that, okay? So that's first things first. Today, what I'm looking for from you is for you to match my pace. I walk really fast in the field. I'm going to see a lot of doors. I want to see you keeping up with me. The second thing is I want to see if you have a student mentality. So I'm expecting you to ask a lot of questions. If you see things or you see me doing things, I want you to question that. I want to see you taking down notes if possible. And I want you to stay off of your phone as much as possible. Obviously, if there's an emergency, I know you have kids. If you have to respond to your wife or whatever, just take a quick break of that, but be aware that we are working, and I want you to stay focused out here with me.
All right, so this is very important. I'm willing to bet that some of you guys are not doing it out there, at least not with this tone, right? It's very important to set the tone, because if you don't be surprised if your guy's on the phone and you're feeling disrespected, or if your guys are like a block behind you when you're walking and you're like frustrated why they're not pacing with you, right? So if you guys are having your new guys act in a certain way, you got to really ask yourself, did I set the right expectation? So how many of you guys are in those, at one point or another, have noticed that your new guys either on the phone or not keeping up with the pace? Raise your hand.
The charger face.
Right? So this is why it's important to set the stage, right? Set expectations so that way they know what's going on, right? One of the things that Stephon did that I really appreciated was that he told me, today we're gonna see a lot of doors. I think I remember asking him how much. He's like, my goal is 80. And I was like, I'm freaking to 80 people. You know, and I asked him, is it appointments? He's like, no, we're going to go and we're going to see them and we're going to sometimes set appointments, but sometimes we're going to speak to them right away and close. So then right away I was like, man, how is that even possible? He's going to go in there, a random stranger, get him to talk to him and somehow close. I was like, nah, at this point I'm like, this guy's insane. I want to see what he's going to do in my mind, right? I'm pretty sure the new guys are going through the same thing where they're like wondering, what are you going to do and how are you going to do it? So by you presetting the game plan, now they're engaged, right? They're engaged, which means they're focused on you and what's going on versus like thinking about their job, the coronavirus, the loved ones. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
Okay, who want to try to role play? Stephon did a great job. I want to see which one of you guys want to try it out. How would you set the stage? Let's do some role play.
I'm down to role play.
Go ahead, Rick. So I'm your new guy, and then you prep me on the day, what's going down.
All right, Mr. Tang. So today we're gonna be out here hitting these doors. We're gonna see around 100 doors at least. That's my goal. I'm gonna see however many doors it takes for me to reach my goals. We might run into some rude customers that have bad experience with the company. My policy is I go for 3 hard no's and then I'm out. But not wasting time with those people. We gotta work on disengaging. You know, I was telling you about staying on pace and being on time is part of that 7 habits. So I'm looking for the low-hanging fruits, man. People that want to talk, people that are open-minded to saving money. Those are the people that I'm looking for, and I'll see however many doors it takes for me to find that person.
Okay, so that's good. I think you covered the things, right? I like that you covered that you're going to see how you hit goals. So I like that a lot because it'll get the new guy from day one to know the importance of achieving goals. So I love that. I love that you also explained to him that there's going to be some negative customers, but your objective is to find the customers that are open-minded. So I love that. Some improvement I would make, my suggestion would be, you say you're going to see at least 100 doors. What's the chance of you actually seeing 100 doors? The chances is slim. It's slim because, but it depends on what you mean by doors, right? If you're talking about just walking past a door, yes, you can achieve that. But if you're talking about doors as if you're walking into the business and you're engaged in conversation with someone, it's a very hard goal to hit. So I want to make sure you're mindful of the number because this is just me, right? Me being a numbers guy, if you miss your goal or you don't follow through with what you say, I identify that as somebody that's untrustworthy, right? So you don't want to have like you don't want to say things and like not really take it too seriously because the people, someone like me that like really are very hard on assessing if somebody's going to deliver what they say, you're going to lose some points on me if you don't see 100 doors. Right, I would reframe it something like this. My goal is 2 sales, and if we have to see 100 doors to get it, that's what we'll do. But normally I see at least 50 doors a day. 50 doors to me is when I walk into a business owner and I walk into a business and speak to someone. Much more achievable, and for sure I get that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. We'll take that advice. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure like. Even right now to today, when I say something, I'm very careful what I say because I want to make sure I can deliver. So I'm very mindful because I don't want to get expectations or a reputation of Ken not being somebody that delivers on his word. I was taught very young in my days that word should be as valuable as gold. It's like a Cambodian saying. And my dad always told me that a man's word is worth more than gold. It's like your credit, So I go with my friend and I say, hey, guys, I want $10,000. Most of my friends that have money, all my friends that have money will give it to me. And the reason why, because they know my value. They know what I'm worth. Does that make sense? I don't need to go to the bank for that. Even though bank I can do it also because I have the credit scores and all that. So you be mindful of what you say to make sure you can deliver on the stuff that you say because that's setting the expectation as well. Does that make sense? And the one thing too that you forgot to mention is the phone. It's a big deal. Like a lot of people's on their phone. Now setting this expectation also may mean that you have to actually follow by it. So one of the things that that I always say, I learned this from Stephon, is that he has kids. So then he'll tell me, hey Ken, I won't be on the phone unless it's a business call because I do have other guys that I have to train and I have to be accountable for. You'll probably appreciate it too if you're after this training, need my help, you want me to pick up. So I'll pick up on those calls. But for the most part, and I'll pick up if it's a family emergency. Like if my wife called me twice, I know that's my cue to pick up. So he'll set like this tone with me, so I know. So by him saying that, he don't have to tell me to even like put my phone away because he's already saying this is how he's operating. And a smart person that, want to do well would actually just follow the lead. So you don't even have to say, I would expect you to do the same. He had no need to say that because by him setting up to tell you what he's going to do to make sure that he's focused, the new guys, which is me at that, they already know what I need to do. Does that make sense? And then from time to time when he see me on the phone, he's like, then he'll he'll remind me very, very nicely. He's like, Ken, the thing about being on the phone is that we're with the customers. Customer may look at that as you being unsincere, or you're not giving your full focus, and it'll hurt our image, especially with our clients. So that's why I don't pick up the phone. So he'll address that when it's needed, but he's not like, hey, you gotta be off your phone. Hey, you gotta follow me, bitch. None of that. It's very tactful and very professional in the way he handled me. So every step of the way, even though he's younger, I was always like, okay, this guy, is gonna be a somebody. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I know he has the quality and the demeanor of someone that I can respect. Does that make sense? So that was a very good start for the first day, and that's what you want to be as a trainer.
Right. It's a good first impression, and Ken, just looking at that, when I share my goals with Ken, it just didn't give him any doubt that I would achieve it, because he sees how I go about my day and my routine. And then I back it up with obviously production and performance. So that's the first thing, is I just make sure I set the tone. And it's important that your guys look at you like, when you first start off with a guy, you're in that position leadership stage, and they're looking at you like that, which is not a bad thing, right? You want to maintain that position leadership respect, and that's how I maintain it. Now we want to progress and get into the permission stage, where they give you permission to lead them because they found some type of rapport that you've built together. You guys have somewhat of a connection, but it's never crossing the lines of like being the homie or the friend, It's always professional conversation, me engaging and talking about their families, but I'm never leaning into, unprofessional talk. Solo, why do you think this is super important and valuable to do?
I think it's important so that it keeps it professional.
Ronell, can you help Solo out? Why do you think it's important to?
Well, I mean, it goes back to the same thing. It's just like when you're doing business, you don't mix business with pleasure at the end of the day. So if I'm going to run a business and I want to be successful, the first thing I'm going to do is go hire employees, not my friends. So it keeps that line there, even though with us being as free as we are, it keeps that level of respect, and it holds them accountable to looking at you as a manager, not a homie.
Absolutely, right? They'll take the job much more seriously, So when you fall into that homie stage, you start to see them. You notice it. They'll text you, "Oh, can't make it in the field today, but I'll link up with you later," or "Not coming into the office on Monday. I got stuff I got to do, but I'll link up with you later." You just find that they don't take the job so seriously. So I just really like to set the tone and maintain that professionalism. Okay, so there's one other thing I like to do in the field, just to get, especially for guys who've never done door-to-door sales. You can use this or not. I just want to kind of share this with you. But I like to talk about the different forms of marketing strategies that there are out here in the world, and which ones are most effective, right? So we have TV, we have radio advertisements, we have billboards, we have direct mailers, we have telemarketers, and now we have social media, and then what we do face-to-face. So I'll say, "Hey, Ronell, there's 7 different types of way to market and get the word out there about your product," right? And then I'll name all 7. And then I'm like, which ones do you feel is most productive? Which ones do you feel gets the biggest return? Most of the time they're gonna, which one are cost effective? Most of the time they'll pick like some of the big ones, like TV or social media. And I'm like, it's effective in the sense of branding and getting the name out there. But when was the last time, other than the coronavirus right now?
Okay.
Okay.
This is something that at the other company we work with, this is like fundamental. This is something that all the trainers talk about. I talk about too. It's very effective because it'll show them why we're doing this and makes it relevant. And it's facts. I can give you stats after this in terms of why AT&T and DirecTV and Frontier are so motivated for us to work for them or work with them. Okay. So let's go over it as if we were role playing.
Okay, Ken. So we're gonna go out today. Obviously, we're gonna see. Well, I don't have to go through that again. So there's 7 real different types of marketing, branding strategies out there. What would you say they are, if you could name all 7?
Ways of marketing?
Yeah.
Ways of marketing, I think I would say television.
Yep, that's one. So I'm driving while we're talking about this.
Television, I think telemarketing.
Telemarketing is another one.
Social media.
Social media is another one. That'll probably be the number 1 answer now.
Yeah. Those are the 3 I can think of.
Right? So there's actually 7. So we have TV, we have radio ads, right? People still listen to the radio. We have telemarketing, like you said. We have direct mailers, the junk mail and stuff that you get in the car.
Yeah. About that.
Social media, TV, radio. We have billboards, and then we have direct face-to-face sales. All right. So that's all 7. Which ones do you feel is most effective?
I would think TV, because you reach a lot of people, and I know during Super Bowl that just passed, everybody's on it. You know, they also have Super Bowl parties and things.
Right. No, so from a branding standpoint, you can reach a lot of people, right? You can get your brand out there. But when was the last time, other than the coronavirus, that you saw a commercial on TV and then jump off the couch and went and purchase something?
I never do. I actually always record my shows and fast forward through it.
Right. So, I mean, they kind of use that. So when you think of like washing your clothes, the first thing you're going to think of is Tide when you go to the actual store, right? But who knows how long that time is before, since you saw the commercial and you actually made the purchase, right? So then we have radio. When was the last time you heard something on the radio? Billboards. When was the last time you saw something on driving past the freeway and then like pulled over and went and bought something?
Only if I'm like out of gas. That's the only thing.
Out of gas, right? So then I'll break down and I'll go through all of them, and then when I get into the face-to-face sales, I talk about that, right? I talk about the importance of it. So today we're going to brand. We're gonna get the name out on the promotion to 80 to 50 to. I mean, if I need to see 100 customers today, I will, but to at least 50 customers. Not all of them are gonna sign up, right? But we are gonna find at least 2 customers today that are gonna say yes. And this is why AT&T or Frontier or DirecTV pays us, because we can go out there and actually bring them business today, right? Those other marketing strategies that they invest in, that's for future businesses and to build credibility. But they need companies like us to go out there and actually bring them business today. And as an organization, I can say that we bring 450 to over 500 new customers to AT&T DirecTV on a monthly basis. That's truly valuable. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's valuable? If you were a business, would you want a sales team to go out there and generate 500 new customers for you every single month?
Yeah, of course. Makes sense. Of course I want that. So, I mean, this is some stats that this is relevant that I think you guys should know. One is other door-to-door teams, even in the door-to-door space, there's only 3 companies that does door-to-door nationwide like us. The rest of them still do telemarketing. They actually call customers or they send direct mail, customer call them back, somebody in the back office would close them. Prior to us, that was the most successful way of getting customers. The high dealer was doing 110 accounts a month, which is what we do in a week, a low week. So we brought this door-to-door strategy into DirecTV, and then we showed them that direct face-to-face was more effective than telemarketing, direct mail, even their AT&T ads and things like that. Because we've, in the past, I don't know how many years DirecTV business was in play, maybe at least 20 years that they have DirecTV for business. their way of marketing has just been what Stephon established with social medias and all that. The highest dealer only does 110. We're at 500. So like if you just use those facts, it would convey confidence in the company and our strategy being effective. Does that make sense? Why do you think this is important for a new guy to understand this? What would do to a new guy if a new guy understand our effectiveness of doing this business to business, face to face strategy? Renell, what do you think?
Sorry, can you repeat that last part of the question?
The question is, do you think it'll be effective if the new person you're with understands how successful this strategy is, this face-to-face game is, how important and how successful we've been? Do you think it's important for them to understand that?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I thought you said. Yeah, most definitely. I think it's going to be more effective, especially with the guys that we have coming into the game. They don't really know too much about the game, and they're looking at us as professionals. So, when we're putting those numbers out there, letting them know what's really going on out here, they're definitely going to, buy into, what we're saying there.
Right. Just because you got to think about it this way, when you guys are out talking to business owners, what's the first thing that you must do for the business owner to even want to talk to you, you think? What's the first thing must happen for a business owner to say, hey, this guy might be somebody I might want to talk to? What must they know about you or think about you?
They must trust you, obviously.
They must trust you, right? And how do you get trust is by credibility. So what Stephon is doing here is he's establishing credibility in terms of why we do it, the standing of the company itself. I mean, we have such big ones. I mean, this doesn't really let me straight on it, but this is a big one. Mm-hmm. That's the facts. Like the fact that we are the first company that ventured into business-to-business sales, and then the number quadruple what the average dealer used to do, is mind-blowing. That's why they're so excited about us, and that's why we get just by everything we ask, including keep asking them to keep the price as low as it's been. Because if it's up to them, they want to charge $40 for Select, right? But we're very influential with them because we have shown that we can deliver the results. So what Stephon is establishing is that what we do is deliver result, right? And if you have a new guy that is business savvy, you can even go deeper and say, while TV advertising or digital marketing can get through a lot of people, it's mainly for branding, right? But they have to invest so much money to do that. Like a Super Bowl commercial costs millions of dollars for a minute or two, right? While us, the client don't pay us till we generate accounts for them. So they have no risk, right? That's why they love us as well. That's why we're so desirable. Does that make sense? The fact that they don't pay us until we get the sale, they love that. Does that make sense? Can you imagine if you go to any company and say, hey, don't pay me yet until I show you that I can get you an account? Of course, of course, do it. Does that make sense? So that's another thing that clicks for me in terms of why this business and this face-to-face is so powerful for big companies that want to generate sales. Does this make sense, guys? I mean, do you understand how this can apply and give credibility to what we do?
Most definitely. It gives us more value than just saying making $1,000 a week.
Right, because it shows the purpose, it shows the foundations, it shows our credibility as a company, but also why this is so effective. And I think the more we do that, the better, right? It's and now when you show them sales, they're like, oh shit, showing sales, this company is growing. Everyone have them represent them. They're on the fast pace, and this is how you sell a vision, right? The $100 is just paycheck to paycheck, but when you sell the fact that the company is doing extremely well, we're crushing the competitors. The door-to-door game is the best game in town. It gives them more certainty. It gives them credibility. It gives us credibility, just like what you're doing with the customers, for them to talk to you, to engage in the next step. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Right. So then once I get them to buy in and understand that, the importance and why we do it, then I'm like, so this is why these companies are paying us. This is why we have multiple campaigns that we're running. This is why we're growing and expanding and going into different markets, because we've proven that our system and our strategy is effective. And then that's when I bust this out. And I'm like, the reason why we're successful and the reason why I'm successful is because of these systems. We have a system that if you follow it to the T, is proven, is tried and true, and proven that you will be successful, right? So we've broken this down into 5 different days. And over the course of 5 days, I need to make sure that I teach you all of this information and teach you the skills that you're gonna need. So at the end of the 5 days, you're confident and competent enough to go out there and achieve your financial goals week in and week out. And then I like to start off with the goals and financial and skills. So now I take interest in the rep, right? So Ken, with that being said, I'm gonna teach you all the rest of this stuff, but first and foremost, what I wanna find out is, what is your financial goals? How much money do you need to make to pay your bills?
Well, I mean, I haven't calculated how much I spend, but UPS I make.
So $500 a week at UPS. That's definitely an attainable goal to do out there in the field. I'm gonna
make more than that.
Easily make $500, right? My goal, I'll try to make $500 today. But
how much you make last week?
Last week I made $1,500. Let's just say,
really?
Right?
Wow.
Or $2,000 or whatever, right? So we'll talk about his financial goals. How much money do you want to make? So 500 keeps you, paying your bills. But I mean, what are your goals? What are your ambitions in life? Like, how much money, when you die, how much money do you want to be worth?
Man, the reason why I'm here is that I want to challenge myself. I want to be, I want to be able to provide for my family. My mom and dad are getting older, and my dad always asked me to step into his shoes one day. And right now they have a shop. They make 6 figures now. They make last I talked to my dad, I think he said he made $150,000 a year. So I want to definitely replace that for me to retire my parents.
Okay. And is that why you got into sales? Like you know that the earning potential is high? Like, why did you get into sales?
That's exactly it, man. My manager just last week, and I asked him, like, what does it take to be a hub manager? His name is Scott, and he said, he started just like me, and it took him 8 years for him to be a hub manager, and now he's making $80,000 a year. And, the normal people should be motivated by that, but me, I was like, I don't want to work 8 years to make $80,000, and then he's working hard, man. The guy's like freaking busting his ass. So I was like, I want to test myself, so I can do something different, something faster.
Okay.
And then, I want to be able to make 150 in like 2-3 years because my dad's getting older. I want to make sure I can retire.
Right. Well, in the sales world, 150K is peanuts, right? I don't know if you know, but sales is the second highest grossing profession next to entertainers, sports, things like that. After that, it comes sales guys who have the skill set to make things make sense to people.
Yeah, like Trump. Trump was a salesman, even a real estate agent, investor, things like that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to focus on right now. So I'm going to be able to teach you the skills for you to be able to make your financial goals. And then it's going to be up to you now to constantly sharpen your skills and get better through watching podcasts and you got YouTube videos. You can practice pitch. What I did to get good at sales is when I saw the top sales guy in the office, I grabbed him and said, "Hey, can I just pitch with you for 5 minutes?" Like, one of the beauty of the things within our company, and one thing that sets us apart, is our culture. If you notice coming into the meeting, everyone treats everyone as if they're all on the same team, and we are.
Like they know each other for years.
Right. We're one big family, so there's no one in the office that's going to hoard or hide information. If you ask, they're going to be forthcoming, and that's one of the things that I love, the culture that we've created. So I'm going to teach you the skills this week to be able to teach you how to go out there and fish. But it's going to be up to you, and your desire and your passion to hit those goals will determine how you enhance those skills. Okay? So my focus this week is to show you how to make $500+ in a week, and I want to teach you and develop those skills to do so.
Makes sense. Did you guys catch that, guys? what was the things that he used to even add more credibility to what we do? You guys catch that? How about you, Solo? What does Stephon do to even add more credibility to what we do? What would you decide?
You said that sales were the second most money generating occupation.
That's correct. And then who did we even associate that to? Who did we even associate that to? Like the person that did sales. Rich, did you catch that?
Well, what I'm thinking about is that you guys reference, the how CMC is award winning with DirecTV 3 years in a row, Commercial Dealer of the Year.
Right, that's correct. But just that conversation currently that we just had, who did we use to reference that? No, I got you. We were referencing Trump, the president himself. Learned sales and was learned real estate. He was in real estate, right? So it's important to reference like key people. Like if it's not Trump, somebody that does sales, like a Grant Cardone, right? Or
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban. There we go. Mark Cuban, like really, man. Mark Cuban. This is one that probably a lot of people know, so because they watch Shark Tank and things like that. But Mark Cuban, man, if there's a business that are pitching him in the Shark Tank, and then they mention that they do door to door to push their product, like he 99% of the time invest in them, or at least praise the crap out of them and encourage others to invest. This is powerful because he knows the importance of somebody that's being able to deliver a product and a service to someone, how powerful that is. Because he had done it at a very young age when he was learning the game. Does that make sense? So when you establish and you reference sales to a Mark Cuban or door-to-door to a Mark Cuban, a billionaire, he's a quad, he's net worth of $5 billion now, right? It gives you credibility, right? So again, you guys, if you guys don't know this already, what you're doing with the new guys is you're still selling the new guys on this opportunity and on yourself and on the company. You have graduated to a higher level of sales, okay? Because the sales that you're making here with the new guys would give you overrides, So the game never changed. You guys just leveled up.
And it's just basically, either you're selling them on the company and the opportunity that you're a part of, or another organization is selling them. And I hate when I lose a sale to Waba Grill. Like, what? You went to go work at Waba Grill instead of working with me? Like, what the hell? Like, where did I go wrong? You're going to be freaking slinging chicken salads when you could be slinging extra packs and making more money, and growing your team and growing as a leader, So sell or be sold, and no matter what profession you're in, if you're running your own little small business, you're going to have to sell people who to work for you, why they should stick around and work with you, So you got to get good at it. So basically that's all I really go through when I first go through day one with the new guy is one, I set the tone. I let them know, look, I take my job seriously. I take this in so many words. I'm not saying this directly to them, but just in the tone and the way that I'm setting the expectations is letting them know that Stephon takes his job seriously and he's going to represent himself in a professional manner. So when you work around people like that, they constantly make you step your game up and tighten up, The next thing I do is I sound smart, right? I talk about marketing strategies and I talk about our strategy and why we do it and how it's highly effective. Like that makes sense to them and they're like, okay, that makes sense and this is good conversation. I'm learning something, right? And then the third thing, I take interest in them and I tie them into how these systems are the reason why we're the #1 company, why we kick everyone's ass. It's not that I'm special. I just follow these systems to the T. And then I take interest in them. What are your financial goals, Ken? Let's talk about you. And then once I go through that with them, I can explain the C factor and stuff like that. The rest of the car ride to the territory or whatnot, I'm just getting to know him. So Ken, so you say you're the oldest in the family. Like, where do you fit in the hierarchy in your family?
Yeah, I'm actually the second oldest. I have an older sister. She's a year older than me, but she's she doesn't really take the role of leading, I guess you can say. She's more of a supporter, and she will look to me to make the decision. So you can say, especially in Asian culture, they often rely on the guy.
Right.
So my parents look for me to be the head of the household eventually, you know. So it's, you know, my dad just robbed a few months ago, and he got, you know, severely injured. So it really makes me realize how important it is for me to step up, because he might not be around to be there for the family. So I wanna fulfill his shoe.
Right. Well, that's honorable, man. So it sounds like you had to take on leadership roles within the company. I mean, within the your family, right? You got to step up and be the man. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's a lot of pressure?
A lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I prefer not to, but I don't have a choice anymore.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, you wouldn't be given certain duties if you couldn't handle it.
I hope so. You know, that's why I'm here, man. So teach me the ropes, brother.
I'm gonna teach you the ropes. Cool, man. So that's good that you were in that leadership role. Did you have to take any leadership roles at UPS? Tell me a little bit about your
I'm a
occupation.
supervisor. I got that since 3 months into you know, working. You know, I just worked my butt off and got promoted really fast. I think I was the fastest to get promoted, and UPS, to be quite honest.
That's awesome.
As far as I know.
Uh-huh.
So, but I just have a challenge with public speaking, and you know,
You get nervous?
I get nervous. I want to work on that, because even now dealing with drivers and things, I find myself like tongue-tied, and
Right.
and you know, it's not easy for me to do.
Right. Well, how good do you think in public speaking you would get if you saw and had to speak to people unannounced 50 doors plus a day over the course of a couple of months? You know, I used to be the same way. I used to be very introverted, believe it or not, when I first started. Yeah, believe it or not. Like, I wasn't the type to walk in the room and be able to be as charismatic as I am now. I would always, around my friends and family, when I'm comfortable, I can be that charismatic person, but around new people, I'm just really reserved and laid back, you know?
Same way.
But this job has really taught me a lot of, you know, how to get out of that shell and how to like win and influence people, all different types of nationalities, age groups, all of that. I've really learned how to possess that and be able to influence them. So it's definitely a skill that I want to teach you. But to get good at it, you got to just do it, man. So today I'm expecting you to get out of your comfort zone. So today you're going to be doing the introductions. I'm going to see about.
Today I'm going to be doing it?
Yes, you are.
Can I see you?
Yes. So I'm going to do about 80% of them because I want to make my money, okay? All right. You're going to do about 20% of the doors. And again, I just want you to be able to introduce yourself and state why we're there.
Okay.
Super simple, but I'm going to show you a lot of examples before I actually have you do it.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll be responsible for the introduction. Then we're going to teach you how to interview and qualify the customer, asking qualified customer questions. You know, we need to identify who the decision maker is. We call that a DM, decision maker, the person who can actually move forward, who's on the account.
Is that the owner?
Sometimes it's the owner, sometimes it's his wife, sometimes it's the manager.
Okay.
You know, but we need to make sure and confirm that they can make decisions on the account.
On the account. Okay.
Right.
Frontier account?
On the Frontier account, right? So we have to identify that because sometimes you can be talking to someone who can't make the decision. We've waited 30 minutes discussing and breaking down the plan and stuff to them, and then they tell us that we got to come back later when the owner's here. So we got to identify that. So then I just break down and I go through everything that they're going to need to learn. Do you guys have any questions so far?
Awesome. What are some takeaway? What do you think it's that you like, that you want to put into action when you're taking out your new guys or dealing with them today? Let's start with Solo. What do you think are one or two things that you can that you've learned here that you can take and apply to your new guys today?
My takeaway from this call would be adding more value to what we do, explaining why sales would be the way to go.
That's awesome, right? creating that credibility, right? Like if you do with the customer first. Just remember, man, it's the same thing. You guys already know how to do this. And the reason why I say that, because you guys already know how to do this, because you guys are leaders. You guys are able to go out there and get sales. It's the same process. All we're doing here is explaining how that process that you are able to get sales, and then transfer it here in the training game, because it's the same thing. It's sales, it's influence, right? You must establish credibility, and by you validating our company as the number one and why door-to-door is most effective, how Mark Cuban loved and used to do door-to-door, you know, how what else did we talk about? Yeah, the fact that we're number one in the nations, and this is the system we use. Now they have like all in on that system, and now they're gonna try to master that. If that makes sense. It's a very good takeaway, Solo. How about you, Renell? What are the things that you took away from this call that you can apply today?
I thought you guys were listening to me when I was talking, but like I said, for me, I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying. I mean, we can go out and make sales. This is the part of the game where I need to learn to level up, which is adding value to the opportunity that I'm bought into. You know, obviously, I got goals that are, you know, financial, that drives me without, you know, needing all the bells and whistles, so to say. But it actually helps to add value. Like I said, like the guy I had yesterday, he's from Boeing. He was already making $1,500 a week. So for him, he comes from a place that's, you know, that has standards. So it kind of gives us standards, you know what I mean, to let these new guys know that we're not here today and gone tomorrow.
Right, that's you know, because they don't know us yet, right? So we're now like the things that let's identify what you just said. First of all, good takeaway. But you said that you know, you're so motivated with your goals, right, that you don't need external stuff like the company and door-to-door and all that to really fuel you, right? But let me ask you, if you already have your goals, why choose this company? Why do you choose this as a vehicle for you to get your money? Right, because everybody have that money goal, but why did you choose it?
Right. For all the reasons that that were listed above, like you said, I mean, just knowing that door to door is number one. I come from insurance, so I know how hard it is to go door to door. Landing this opportunity here, I mean, a lot of guys don't really understand how easy we really have it. I mean, for me, personally, I understand that, like, this is the easiest sell I've ever made. Second, the opportunity to grow. I mean, you know, there's not very many, you know, places that you can go and just really grow off of your performance. It goes back to sports. You know, the guy that has the best averages is the guy that's the MVP, and that's what we get rewarded with here, versus politics.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So those are what's stuck here, right? Because in other companies there was politics, it was hard and things like that. So you want to make sure you transfer that to your new guys, if it's relevant, right? Because it is important for you to convey that. I mean, you know, another thing would probably be the relationship, right? I mean, how would you feel our support is to you and versus the other company that you've been around with, you think? And I want sincerity. I don't want you to look at me, you know?
Yeah, no bullshit, Ken. I didn't even think I had to even speak on the brotherhood that we have. It's crazy. I mean, you know, that's one thing that I do love about. That's the main thing, honestly. It is a true brotherhood. I mean, you know, guy has a flat tire, everyone's there to support you and get you back going. And you won't find that anywhere. And genuinely, you won't find it anywhere, unless, you know, you won't even find that working with your family, man. So the brotherhood is, like, you know, undeniable. Like, I can't even, you know, put into words how great that is. So
that's what's missing, Bernal. Like, if you were able to convey that, just at least if they believe in half of the stuff you said about our culture and how we have each other back, you think these guys would look for another way to make money, another company to make money? See, this,
I
this
don't
is the
see why
stuff that we're
not.
leaving behind. You know what I mean? Because I know you bought in, and I know, you know, obviously we've been supporting you and things like that, because you also add a ton of value to us as well. But this is the stuff that we forget to tell our guys. You know, and now they're looking for like real estate sales, they're looking for insurance sales, they're looking for another door-to-door sales, right? But the brotherhood is real. I mean, not that sounds like kind of cultish and shit, but like, we're out to help each other out, and like, you know, that should be conveyed to your new guys, because they're gonna ask in the back of their mind. They're like, okay, door-to-door is great, sales is great. Thanks for letting me know all this. And now the moment they have another company that hired them with a small base or something, now they're trying to jump ship. Because you successfully sold them on how great door-to-door is, but haven't really sold them on our team. Does that make sense?
Most definitely.
Yeah, so that's something, feedback for you. If you have a lot of people keep saying, I got to find a job, this, that, and the other, is because, just like Stephon says, some other company has successfully sold them that it's a better company to work than what we have. You know, and if that's a common thing, you guys need to let me know so that we can up our game, right? 'Cause I'm competitive, man. I want to make sure that in this door-to-door game, in this space, we kick ass, you know, not just in what DirecTV says, but in terms of like people belief and confidence that they're in the best environment to make money, and also to like support them at a level up in terms of skills and you know, financially. Does that make sense? How about you, Rich? What's your takeaway? What are the things that you took away from this call that you want to apply to your game today with your new rep?
First thing I'm thinking about is the whole thing about the cell phone. That one really impacted me. You know, I don't really notice, or I don't really pay attention. I don't like look to see if the guy's on the phone or not. But now thinking about that you said that, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, man, I've noticed. Thinking back, I could notice some like people being on their phone while I'm doing something in the business. You know, so I'm like, wow, that's actually interesting to think about. I should communicate that with these guys. You know, when I'm doing stuff, you know, you want to pay attention as much as you can, stay engaged. I guess just making sure the guys are staying more engaged on each door, even if we're not closing. That's one big thing. And then another big thing is, you know, how Ronell was saying right now about the whole how you're telling him we got to sell the team aspect of it as well. Because yesterday I was going over with the guy, you know, how awesome it is to be in sales, and, you know, how much you can make and what it does for you personally in terms of personal development. So I'll definitely, you know, relay that to the guys as well. Focus on how awesome the brotherhood is. But,
yeah, just make sure it's genuine. Yeah, just make sure it's genuine for you, right? I brought Ronell because I know how Ronell feels, right? But whatever caused you to be here, Rich, you want to, don't be shy of that, because they don't know that, right? To them, you're crazy going door to door with this Corona stuff going on type of thing, right? So they need an explanation, right? So good job. You know, I wanna end with this. I can't sit for a long time because I get like, I don't know, I just need to be energetic. So. One thing that if you haven't caught on already, what Stephon have done in the first day, what he said about setting expectations, he is commanding respect and already like conditioning me and whoever he takes out to look at him as a leader with so many ways. The first one is educating them on what this marketing strategy, how effective it is versus other marketing strategy, right? He looked intelligent. It's something I didn't know, so I was like, oh shit, a young guy like that know that? Man, he must be a marketing major or some shit, you know what I'm saying? Second, when he was asking about the phone and he was disciplined enough to only answer emergency calls, and he was only, he have other people that he have to support, it shows me like his influence and how many people he's responsible for. So it makes me feel comforted that if even after this week, he'll answer my calls and things like that. So subconsciously, I'm thinking, okay, this is a guy I can rely on because he's always by his people, right? And he's care about his family because he'll pick up emergency calls. It's like little subliminal things, you know what I mean? It's like you're setting the stage, Rich. Like if you are having a tough time now, or any one of you guys having a tough time now getting you guys to do certain things, it's because the expectations in the beginning wasn't set correctly. So they don't look at you as somebody that they should listen to. Right, but just how you can tell if the sales are gonna go right by the first few minutes of conversation with the customer. It's just like that. Day one, the first week is very important because that sets the stage for how your relationship with your new guy. Should they listen to you or not? How credible is the company, right? Because a lot of us, since we don't do this, here's what happened. And here's what's been happening. Since we don't do this effectively, we have a new guy that come work with us for a week or two, waiting for the next opportunity, waiting for the next group of people that can train them or whatever, and then they bounce. So we just become like a side bitch for them. You know, I don't know about you guys, that's just offensive to me. You know, I'm nobody's side bitch. You know, I'm your main squeeze. Does that make sense? You know, I can have maybe one or two when I was like dating and things, but never am I a side thing. You know what I mean? I would cut the relationship off if I find out that.
That's real.
So,
man. That's real.
Yeah, same perspective, man. So like, you gotta, you know, leadership doesn't start like later on. It starts the first day, and I want you guys to have that confidence. And if you do these things, you'll convey that right away, and you'll find all of a sudden your new guy showing up on time. Your new guys is like not on the phone. Your new guys is like clinging to every word, trying to like, you know, get some gems from you versus like calling them and shit, figuring out where they're at, why they're not showing up. You see what I'm saying? It starts from setting the right expectation, right? Yeah. So I think this is a great meeting for you guys to understand the fundamental and the psychology of training and leadership, how to really, you know, frame it right so the expectations is correct, and then you're gonna have a successful new guy, right? And your job's gonna be much easier.
Right.
That's awesome stuff.
Right. It's easy to tone it down, you know. So I always like to start off setting the tone, and then I can become nicer over time as they, you know, grow within the company. Not nicer, but you know what I mean. Like I'm not as stern with them, and then you know, then I can be nicer versus being super nice in the beginning. And then trying to be stern later on, they're gonna look at you as an asshole or just like emotional or whatnot. So just make sure you set that tone on day one, and they're gonna respect you and look at you as a leader, as a boss, and that's how you want them to. You know, that means they're gonna go home and practice pitch. They're gonna follow the homework assignments that you're giving them. They're going to show up on time the next day when they value you and look at you that way. That's all I have, Ken. You got anything?
No, that's it, guys. Thanks for being engaged. Let's take this gem and apply, guys, and grow your business, okay? Grow your team.
Okay, guys.
Have a good day, guys.
Okay, guys.
Thank
you.
you, guys. Appreciate it.